Alright, welcome back to An Archdemon's Dilemma, How to Love Your Elf Bride. Anime Review, Episode number 9. We are here reviewing the 12th and final episode of Season 1. It's also the episode series, which is called Music at Night is Lovely, but maybe it's too much when you're socially awkward. Yes, this episode, unlike last episode, will feel like a conclusion to the story arc that's been going on in the show since like episode, I'd say like 7. This episode felt like an epilogue. So here's what happened. So basically, Nephi, Zygon, and Four after basically giving her diary since a few episodes back. So they got shot because they're having the Holy Night base to come by. So they got shopping. They run the Maro, which of course she has a phonograph in her shop, a broken down phonograph. Yes. Now, those of you might be asking, the way this anime depicts the appearance of this thing is accurate to the real life thing. Mostly yes, except one small thing. In the show, it's powered by magic. In real life, you have, from what I can tell, I've never seen this in person. You have to kind of turn this lever in order to turn it on, and you put a record on there. And you can think of it as like an early version of radio, kind of. And they describe it in the show as an antique. With the exception of the lever, it's pretty accurate to the real life thing. Have I ever played one? No. I have not. Have I played one before? Yes, I have. Kind of. We actually had a stereo system in my old house years ago that actually had a record player on top of it. And we used it for years. Mostly cassette tapes, occasionally CDs, like this big huge tray that could hold like about four or five CDs on it. It was a big boombox, big stereo system. And on top was record player. It worked for quite a while, and then it stopped working. Now there are systems nowadays that can play record players. They can play records, not records like paper. No, these are pieces of black plastic. They have like little lines on them. Basically, they have this little needle, and you play this music. Occasionally, of course, these things have scratches on them. Excuse me. And the way you can tell the record is finished is when they reach because the way the thing works is that it plays music, it circles around, and the needle just kind of in a way stays in one place until it reaches the middle. When it reaches the middle, that means it's finished. You can either flip it over or switch to something else. And records were kept inside of these big, huge envelopes. These paper envelopes, usually covered in cardboard, they're kind of early versions of what we consider as albums. My dad, basically, he's a big fan of the country music band Alabama. He's practically followed them since they started. And he owns pretty much all their records, all their albums on records, cassette tapes, and CDs. Those of you are thinking, what the heck are cassette tapes? Well, kids nowadays probably have no idea what these things are. They're basically, sometimes they can be about this size. I've seen like that. Mostly put, they're basically the size of your hand. They're basically very square-like. They have film inside, and you can play it, or you can rewind it. You're thinking, rewinding? We can do it with DVD players nowadays. Or Blu-rays. True, yes. But, of course, this is another piece of technology that's since been defunct. A technology known as VHS tapes. Yes. People might, I know about VHS tapes because I played VHS tapes when I was a kid. back in the 1980s. But I can go on basically with stuff like this. So, meanwhile, though, so he buys up Meryl, takes it home, fixes it for his dinner party. And of course, Barbados is there because he's been watching her. And he's also been peeping on her, even outing her. And of course, they tried to just cook soup, and Neffy tries it. And it's terrible. My gosh, the thing is horrible. So, Ford does not like Barbados at all. So, at dinner, she fed him the soup. Yes. And then, of course, he was being rude, so Zygon threw a fork at his head. And it got stuck in his head. And apparently, he never bothered to remove the damn thing. I'm like, really? Yeah, and also he had the fact that, oh, she sleeps with a stuffed animal. I'm like, who cares? It's fine. After her to grow up, though. She's an adult, and the thing is, she also reveals in the episode, because the cardinal got killed off last episode, she's practically taking all of his remaining assignments. Because she's part of the clergy somehow. The subject of Angelic Knight. We don't see a sacred sword this episode. Not a one. You're thinking, that's strange. Why in the world is there not any sacred swords? Not even mentioned. Not at all. There's also, Raphael has sort of a reminiscence of basically where he went to a dance hall, which Ford does not know what it is. Neffy kind of knows what it is. He says, I went there to stay for a while until I kicked up by sorcerers. Either because you're an angelic knight or being rude. Yeah, and the episode ends with Neffy and Zygon dancing. Though it's apparently the next day they return the Poneglyph to, like, the streets for some reason. Not sure why. You can surmise maybe they officially got married. Who knows? But it's actually a pretty good finale. I mean, it feels like a bonus episode. This one does. Yeah, that's what it feels like, because like episode 11 felt like it was the end of the season. It felt like that was a proper finale. This just feels like a bonus episode. This feels like this is the actual season finale, but that's kind of how it is. So let's do it here instead of basically doing a video. Final thoughts on the first season show. Well, first of which basically I had gotten into the show purely because basically I was curious about its premise. And I found it quite interesting. Neffy is a great character. Sadly put, when it comes to series, this is one of those shows recently where the voice cast, I was not familiar with them much at all. Not really. Do I kind of wish for big names? I do wish, yes, they would have. But I'm fine with the voice cast. What they did, it's fine. Now, do a problem with character show up with bigger points in the series? No, not really. I think it's perfectly fine. It serves basically the purpose of the series. Barbados being main villain the first half of the season, I thought that was a bit... Yeah, and then you probably think, watching this thing, like, wait, so Barbados was behind a lot of the stuff in season 1, in the first half of the show, first half of the season, and then oh, he's forgiven just because he brings good booze. I'm like, you might think that's a bit weak, but that's how the book presented it, so don't blame the anime for it. It's the book's fault. Which, if you're curious, how the books were released here for this show? Yes, they have. You can go ahead and read them, no problem. Even the manga is released here too. So with this, pretty much I am officially just done reviewing the series for now until whenever they decide to do this one. Okay, so that's pretty much a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check notifications, and do not hit the dislike button. Next to the comment corner, and then I'm going to, I might say that final episode for tomorrow for Reborn the Master to Believe. I'm going to do a comment corner next, okay? Next video. Bye.